Well, hello. Good afternoon. Welcome to Katie Sue headquarters, and a massive warm welcome to a great friend of mine, Jack Heath. We're so thrilled that you could come to Katie Sue headquarters for this Facebook Live. So you're going to be able to show us. You are going to, I'll let you. Yes.
Sort of. We're going to have a play. We're going to just show you something different to do with the moulds. We're going to have a go at making a little house. We're going to use all the gorgeous leaf moulds, and the berry moulds, which I think I told you. I sort of fell in love a little bit when the berry moulds came out.
A lot of people did, myself included. Yes.
So I thought we'd just walk you through it and how I would do it.
Okay. So I'm going to start off with, we've actually got a bundle on. So if you're wanting to make a savings and you've not got these, then these are the things that you really need to have. So we've got the berries and the nuts there. So you can see there, you've got your blackberries, you've got your acorns, you've got your walnuts, your almond, your acorn cups. So that's a fantastic addition. We've also, and Jack and I both love this.
Absolutely.
So you can see there you've got rose leaves and you've also got oak leaves. But quite frankly, they can be whatever you want.
Yeah,
they can, just go for it and do whatever. And then this, wow.
Yeah.
So many people are absolutely intrigued by this. And this was a long time in the making because it needed to be perfect.
You can totally
understand it. This is perfect. Yeah. Perfect. So with this bundle, so we've got the tree bark, we've got the leaves, we've got the nuts and berries. You're going to have a saving of £8.18. So that's going to cost you £37.57. So that's a 20% saving.
That's
on what you
would
that is amazing.
Especially
this
with
is what
this.
You're going to
I mean, that's the size of size of my hand.
It's a very, very large mould. Absolutely beautiful. So come on then. Let's see what you're going to be doing with this.
So I thought I've never done it. So why not do it live with you? And we'll do two colours
together.
Well,
why not? Live dangerously.
So I thought instead of having to paint everything, these are gorgeous. All the colours are wonderful. I've took the dark brown.
So this is a 50-gram pack.
It is.
All of the colours come in a 50-gram pack. This is the dark brown that you've got here.
It is.
But they're really luscious, aren't they?
Do you know, they're just a pleasure. I should tell you what I've done with my mould. Sometimes I dust them with corn flour. I've used a little bit of vegetable fat.
Right.
So all I'm going to do is I'm going to spread this one thinly, if you like. And I'm not worried if it actually, some pieces pop through. And I'll tell you why. Because I've found that if you leave something that's wet, if you leave the clay that's wet against another clay, it will take on the colour.
Yes.
So I'm never worried because I'm going to put a stark white on top of that.
So one of the other reasons that I can see why you would, instead of using corn flour, why you would use, now it has to be vegetable fat. Yes. It has to be a white vegetable fat that you're using. So why you would use that instead of your corn flour as well, if you dust it with corn flour, it leaves that residue and you can use a damp cloth to wipe that off.
That's right.
So if that's the way you do it, then that's fine. But sometimes I think the vegetable fat does enable it to be a little bit more flexible.
It does. It's a little bit, for me, it's a little bit more forgiving when I've got a very detailed mould.
Yes. When it's very narrow, very fine, I must admit. For the foliage, the ferns and things that we've got, yes, I do occasionally use that. So if you have any trouble with your corn flour method, then try a little bit, but be warned, don't use too much. It's just got to be the very smearing on your finger.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not covering the whole mould because all I want is
because you don't need to.
I want a platform.
Okay.
But if I wanted to keep on a continuous mould, then wow, I could just keep going.
So this is a continuous mould. So that's what we're talking about. So once you've done this complete, then you can take that out and then the two edges would join up together. It's absolutely an incredible mould. But yes, you only need certain bits, then that's what you're going to do.
You do. Now, I'm conditioning this a little bit because I've left it in its packet.
Okay.
But I'm going to just move that over and I'm just going to give it a little roll, which will just help me to spread it a bit.
Yes, and it takes a little bit of moisture out, doesn't it?
It does. And you see I've got bits of browning off my fingers.
So well, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't, because it's going to be the back and it's going to be covered. So just by doing that, it allows me just to take it to where I need it. And we'll just play around and we'll just make sure that it's back off the edges, but we'll give it a good squish on. And I'm not worried about, you could be totally professional and you could totally make it straight.
That would give you a flatter back if it was
would.
going up against anything flat. But
But
really,
to be honest,
yeah,
for what I'm doing, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
And then you would take the excess off. Always take it back from the mould, because that just allows it to release easier for you. Because otherwise you've got something holding on.
Yeah, but the very essence of having that so rustic, you can get away with. So that's another point. If you're not used with Katie Sue moulds and you want to give it a try, this is a fabulous one to use because it's rustic, so that you can't do anything wrong with it. So look how that's going to come out.
So
that
I'm
releases
just
beautifully.
going to slowly release it out and just make sure I'm not pulling, I'm not overly pulling, and I'm going to leave that. And if you want to tilt
Just
that,
going to
you'll be
lift
able
that
to
up
see.
so that we can see. Now look
Look at that.
It's
amazing, isn't it?
That is a piece of bark. Come on, Jack, it is.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
So then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take bits away from it. So this is going to be, I don't know if we can get that over. I've got the jar on this one actually standing on pieces.
Yeah.
So I'm not really bothered about having straight lines, if you like. So taking some away.
Oh, you see, so again, that's even better when we can just be random. You don't have to be perfectionist or anything, do you?
I don't do perfection
I don't.
easily.
I don't either. Trust me.
I find rustic very easy.
Yes. Jaunty angles, rustic. Yes, I'm all for it.
Fabulous. And you know, sometimes I think it looks a bit more natural.
Yes,
You
I
know,
agree.
just by
I agree.
actually taking bits out.
Now, would you leave that to dry then, Jack?
Normally, if I was going to use it for something other than what I am today, yes, I'll probably just let it dry.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing is I'm actually going to put it onto a plaque.
I love this plaque. I love this base.
Well, do you know, I've got a very good hubby.
I know you have. I know you have.
And I keep him, I keep him very, very busy, bless him. So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to add a little bit of glue.
Yeah.
Now PVA, your preference, you know, it could be silicone. It's totally up to you what you use, and I'm going to pop that on there.
And I know that when that dries, it's going to shrink a little bit. But again, because it's rustic, it doesn't really matter.
No,
you haven't got it to cover any certain areas that you need.
And I'm working on this jar today, and it's a hexagonal jar, which is quite good for if you're putting something flat against it. It's quite good for that. But what I'm actually going to do, just to get the feel of it, I'm then going to press on it like so. I know that's where it's going to go, and I add some glue there.
Yes.
When I want to add to the bottom.
Yep. Great.
Now, I'm going to put that to one side, and then I'm going to bring in the lid.
Okay.
So that lid started like this.
Wow.
Okay.
Like that?
Yep. There we go. And I'll show you what I've done with it, just so that you can understand where that comes from. I've took some tin foil and I've folded it over. I've added a little bit of masking tape along the side, like so. And then I've took that to the very edge of the lid.
Okay, I can see on there.
Like so. All the way around. And just keep on going all the way around it. But it's great for making structure, a bit of foil.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going all the way around, letting it overlap, like so.
And then
I'm
just
left with
it
it.
or whatever. Yeah.
And there we go.
Fantastic.
So that's exactly how the lid
Wow.
came. And I'm not worried that it doesn't have to be neat. You just have to go with it.
Brilliant.
And let it do its own thing.
That's a great tip, that.
So I think what we'll do is we'll get that one covered, ready.
So whilst you're doing that, I just want to show some of this dried continuous bark. Now have a look at this. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Now you see how flexible that is as well. So we've got a little bit of the white fat in there, made it that little bit more flexible. If you want to angle it and dry it, then you can dry it on a shape. This one that we've got here,
it's gorgeous.
It is actually fondant.
It's just been stripped off the bark of the tree.
Doesn't it look like it?
That's
Yeah.
exactly
So
what it
that's
looks like.
that's fondant. So you can see, obviously, because the molds are food safe as well, then we could use it with our cake as well. So that was just brushed over, done in a brown, and then just brushed over with different colours, but realistic.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely. And I know lots of artists, and I don't think there'd be many would ever get that result, ever.
No.
So I think, yes, it took a long time in the making, but I think it's been
True
worth
to form,
it.
exactly. So if it's not right, then it just gets sent back, and we'll find out the problem, figure the problem out, and then
That's what it's about.
yes,
It's
absolutely.
perfection at the end of the day, isn't it?
It is.
So I've mixed a few colours here.
I was going to say, so what
I
colours
know.
are those?
So it's magenta.
Yeah,
but
I
then
like that magenta.
So I've mixed that in with the white, but then I've knocked it back. So because it's quite bright, the magenta,
Okay,
so I've
yeah.
knocked it back with some brown.
Yeah.
So I've just added some brown just to dull it, if you like. So
Or what you could do as well is, I suppose, you could do it in white and then just paint it. So
Yeah.
it just depends on
Totally up to you.
your preference. If the only one that you've got is white, then do it all in white.
Yeah.
Or if you want to colour it, there's loads of different things you can colour the white with as well,
there
isn't
is,
there?
yeah, you can go for distress inks, you can go for any water-based
Your
inks.
food colourants, your
Yeah,
food gels,
absolutely.
powders, they're all manner of things. So just
Makeup,
whatever you've got,
anything,
whatever you've
anything.
got. What I do is I usually turn a dry piece over and try it on the back. So
Yeah.
if it works on there, then I know it's going to work.
Absolutely.
But that's a lovely
So,
colour, that.
All I'm doing is flatten it out. I'm then going to, can you see I've added some masking tape
Yes.
into here?
Now, so that's going to make it adhere a little bit better, is it?
So I just checked I had the right amount earlier. That's why I've got some pink on the end of mine. I just wanted to make sure that I
Okay.
had the right amount.
Yep.
Now, I'm more worried about it adhering to the edge.
Yes.
Because that's where everyone's going to open a lid.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've got stuff on there, I'm pretty okay, and I'm going to dot the rest around.
Yes.
So just a little bit here and there.
And of course, when the clay is wet, it'll dry to itself anyway once you get it, where the joints are, doesn't it?
It does, it's great.
It is fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I must admit, there's times when I think, oh, how am I going to stick? Oh, it stuck itself.
Yeah. Yep.
It's done it for us. So I'm popping that there. So I've just spread it out with my fingers, nothing technical. Just spread it right out, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to mould it around here. Now I know I've got too much, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because we'll fold it in. Anywhere that I've got missing, I'll
And you
take
just-
bits
yeah.
away and I'll add on.
That's the beauty
Because
of it,
I'm
isn't
covering
it?
this.
Yes.
This is getting covered with my leaves. So all I want is a good base. So I'm going to open that up, pop it down, and then I'm going to start and mould it until I know it's all covered
Yeah.
and there's no gaps.
And of course, we are doing this Facebook Live, so obviously you would take a little bit longer
It
in,
would.
getting it the way you want it, but this is just
And
coming
even
along fabulous.
once it's on, you can mould it,
Yes, yeah.
That's fine. And it just, if you've got little bits that's overlapping, it doesn't matter.
No.
It makes it more rustic.
Yes, it does. It does. And of course, if you're going to add the leaves to that, you don't want it all on a really
No.
plain roof. You want to be able to have a little bit tumbling around, don't
That's
you?
right. So all I do then is I check that I
okay,
haven't
that it's not
covered.
covered that. The underneath
That's
of that.
right.
Yes.
And that the mechanism
Yeah.
will still go on.
Fantastic.
On. So that's that to one side
Fantastic.
now. So we can pop that to one side.
So you would leave that to dry on some kitchen towel and, leave that, yeah?
Eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I would add the leaves straight away to
Okay,
it. So
right.
I would have my leaves made up in a batch, and I've done some already. And I
Fab.
would add leaves to it, but I want this bit.
You want to do
covered
this bit first, fine.
Yeah. So we're just going to move all the bits away, and I think I've got another piece here, which again I've mixed. Now you're going to ask us what colours I've mixed. I think I've just added a little bit of brown.
Yes,
And
tiny
I
bit, I
don't-
can see.
Sometimes I add a little bit of yellow to it as well.
Yes,
but I think
yeah.
I've just added a little bit of brown.
That's
to
the great
this
thing
one.
about these colours though, because if you're using it, if the colours are the pigment is so intense in it, just start
is.
off with a tiny, tiny little pinch of it, add it to white, because otherwise
Yeah.
you're going to go on and on and on.
Yeah,
I've
otherwise you
been there,
keep adding
done that
white,
one.
keep adding
Yeah.
white, keep adding white, and you end up with a big ball.
Been
like
there,
this.
done that one. So
Like
just
this.
be a little bit careful. Start
Absolutely.
off small and slowly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and I'm going to flatten this one down. Now the jar's not very high, and this one is actually a smaller jar than the other one that I did. I think that was it was a milkshake, you know, when you get
Right,
the milkshake
yes,
drink
yeah.
jars. I think that was one of those ones.
It's just whatever you happen to have, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
And perhaps what you're going to put into it.
all jam jars, you know,
Yes.
just wash them out.
Yeah.
I tend to leave the labels on
Yes.
because it helps for it to adhere
stick.
to.
Yeah.
You know, so I never worry.
And I love recycling. I don't know about you, but I do love the fact I say, oh yeah, I've got a carton there I can use, a box, and
I've even got my husband recycling, and even his workmates recycling. I did it.
it's funny. That's what happens when I go to my sisters. And that, do you need that, Noreen? That's
know.
empty. Do you
I know.
want that one? So you end up with everything that you can imagine: all picture frames, boxes, jars.
I did a workshop with a load of coffee jars, but the big coffee jars. And I had my husband and his work colleagues drinking as much coffee. He said, look, we're so dithery now. You must have enough. You must have enough jars.
And you know what I've been known to do? Empty it all into polythene bags.
Absolutely.
Because I've been desperate for that particular jar. So, be careful because it can become addictive.
Washing up liquid bottles.
Yes.
I think some people will have seen I did penguins with washing up liquid bottles.
Right.
And it had to be the really big ones.
Uh-huh.
So now I've got, the 5-gallon containers. I've got lots of 5-gallon I'll never ever need to buy washing up liquid again. So
you put your glue around.
done exactly the same again. A
Yep.
piece around the top and a piece around the bottom.
Okay.
And I'm not worried if it's not exact. I can cut it down to where I want, and I'm just going to place that on, and I'm going to wrap it round.
Fab.
And if that means I've got to squish it a bit, I'll squish it a bit. There's no right or wrong with this.
No.
You're just getting that jar covered. And if when it comes to the seam, so you always end up with a seam when you wrap it. So you can either put the edges together,
Yeah.
or you can just
Yes. Yeah.
just use what you've got to hand. You could use one of the Dresden tools, but
You can actually use a tiny little bit of water on your finger and just rub over the top of it, and that eliminates that mark.
So again, I'm taking it up to the workings, but not on the workings. I will
Okay.
always push
I'm
it
with
back
you.
from the workings. And
That's a
there we
nice
go.
shaped jar though, isn't it?
Isn't it lovely?
Like it.
And I must admit, I bought these ones new. I don't often do that. Don't often do that at all. But I had another workshop, and this was what was left over from it. I try not to give people my used pickle jars and things.
Talking about that, that's just reminded me. This Jack's creation, we're going to actually give it away.
We are.
What you need to do is you need to go onto the Facebook Live and you need to like and share. Just like and share, and then by tomorrow 12:30, the team at Katie Sue are going to pick a winner, and that lucky winner is going to win this beautiful little house.
Absolutely.
How cool is that?
It is pretty cool.
I
and
love
I think
it.
you've got somewhere to keep your knickknacks, which looks quite good.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think it's quite nice. Right, so we need a door and we need a
Okay.
window. Now,
So that's the other two we've got in the bundle, isn't it?
is.
Now these are sugar buttons ones. So
Yes.
we've got this fabulous door. So look at this door, the detail again. So you've got the brickwork around the outside, you've got that beautiful heart in the centre.
Yeah.
Obviously, attention to detail. You've got the hinges, you've got the lock, you've got the doorstep. And then keeping it in the same vein, because you can see they look so alike. You've got the beautiful flowers here, you've got the foliage, you've got a window that you can actually open, and they've got little hearts on the outside shutters. So again, those are a 20% saving. So you're going to get these for 20%, $29.98. So you're saving £4 on those. But again, what I must stress is these are a one-time purchase. These are going to last you for ages.
Yeah.
And if you want to use them for your sugar paste, for your melted chocolates, your
toffee.
then you can. But make sure if you're going to use them for one purpose or the other, either craft or cake, then you're going to need to have two different sets. But you'll not regret it because they're fabulous.
Absolutely. And there's nothing worse than getting a bit of clay in your toffee.
Well,
so keep them separate.
Exactly.
Keep them separate.
Exactly.
So Now, what you probably can see is that's going to be far too big for my jar. So what I love about the Katie Sue designs, they're so well thought out. You can actually cut them down, and you can make them adapt to what you want. So that's
and
what
that
we're going
again
to do here.
lets the customer have their own creativity.
It does.
You don't have to worry about that at all, do you?
So I'm going to use a little bit of...
Oh, I like that colour, Jack.
You're going to ask us, but
no, I'm
yeah,
not.
I think there was a bit of yellow, possibly a bit of green, and a bit of white.
I like that.
So what I do is, this is the bit that I want. I want to end up, can you see? I've cut it down. So that's what I want to...
So that's the piece that we need for this particular project. But again, look at the detail on there. You see those hinges? And I love that little heart at the front. And then you've got this beautiful, welcoming little doorstep. Exactly. Love it.
So I'll just show you how I do that. Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, how do you cut it down? You know what?
So you've done your mould out again with your vegetable fat, yeah?
I'm hoping I have.
Yeah.
I tried to prep most of it to stop you, to stop having to stop. So I'm going to press it all down, like so. There we go. And any excess, just work to the bottom or one side of it and just take it off.
Do you see when we're talking about technique? Come on.
There isn't. I know.
There's not a lot of it, is there?
And I think that's what I love about it. Because they're so good, you don't need a technique. You just need to get that paste in there and get it done.
And the moulds do the work for you, don't they? They absolutely do. There's no way could I have ever created half of the things I've done without the use of these moulds. Absolutely incredible. But you still get all the credit for it. That's a good thing.
You do.
Yes, actually, yes. I made that.
Now, you can see I haven't totally filled it. I'm not worried about that because I only need that in. That, so you only have to put it where you need it.
Oh, wow, so, look at that. Just look at the detail on there.
So you can do a few things with that.
Whoa.
You could take out the heart while it was on.
Yes.
And you could, with a little tool and take that off.
Yeah.
You could leave it on and just paint it later on.
Yeah.
Totally up to you, but we are going to cut away all of this.
Okay.
All right. Now there's
what do you use to cut away? I usually tend to use a pair of scissors.
Yes, so do I. So depending, if I've let it dry, I always use the scissors.
Yes.
If not, I tend to use a tool, and I tend to, because it sticks to the scissors otherwise, so I'll just take it round. You know what you need to do? Put a little smearing of vegetable fat on. Vegetable, I never thought of that. Or use a pizza cutter. Use those. Those are fab. Even a knife. Yeah. It's just totally up to you. And if you find it's going to drag, just put a little bit, tiny little bit of your vegetable fat on. And then I would just take that away. And I would just gently take it away. And look at the stones, aren't they gorgeous? And you could use that somewhere else. Easily. We'll keep that to one side just in case we do. Yeah. So that's all I would do, and I would go all the way around. And it lends itself because it shows you where it ends, so there's where the wood ends and that's where the stone starts. You just really can't make a mistake with this, can you? No, you can't. So in true, here's one I made earlier fashion, that's where we're at. Now see how much that's shrunk? So you will get a little 10% possibly of shrinkage, so you can see once that's dry, then it does shrink a little bit. But actually that's going to work to my advantage today. Yes, it will. Because this one is just about the right size. And then all I've done is I've gone over and I've painted it. So we're just... What did you paint it with? I painted it with... I used some pigment powders, which I mixed with an acrylic wax. All right. And it just worked. So that's basically what I did with mine. So because that's wet, you can then just push that on onto there, to exactly where I want it, and that's good to go. Fantastic. So now I would possibly pop it on there, on the stand that we've got. So adding a little bit more, and I know that that's going to grab it, but just for a bit extra security, yes, I would give it that and pop that on. Wow. And we'll just pop that on like so, and that's him secure. How cool does that look already? I was going to hang on to that so that you can see. But there, look. They're just so cute, aren't they? Oh, God, they're starting of a little house. I love it. So what I've done is exactly the same with the window. Yes. So if we bring that in, And if I pop that on, you can see exactly where I have cut.
Yes.
All right, so we don't need to go over that again.
No.
I think we've got that. So we can decide where we want the window button. And we can add a bit more.
But you know what I'm thinking is you could have done as well, Jack. You could cut out the heart. You could cut out the windows and have a little tea light inside.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Oh, my granddaughter would love that.
And just so you can see, that is actually grabbed hold already.
Yeah.
So that's how forgiving it is, you know, to work with. I can actually lift that.
Isn't that fantastic?
It's really clever, and I think we'll just pop that one up on the side there, and I'll, if that's so you can see.
There you go.
There we go. So we'll pop that on the side, like so, and that's.
I mean, if you wanted to, you could really go to town, couldn't you?
Oh.
I know this is, but we've got loads of inspiration on the website, and I must bring one in that Jack's done. I want to just show you this again. So this has got the leaves on the top.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that lusciousness. Then we've got the beautiful door, and you can see that it's already on the tree bark.
You see this piece?
Yes.
This bit here, all that is, but it could be a fork.
Right.
So you could use a fork and you just drag it down.
Yeah.
And that gives you that.
And you see on that window, I can see that you've used the little bits, if you've kept the little bits of stone there. Now look at all those beautiful nuts, berries, leaves, and everything that's going on around here.
It's lovely, isn't it?
This is just exquisite. I love it.
So while all of that dries, we'll just pop that to one side again, and we'll bring back our lovely.
So while you're doing that, I just want to say about anybody that's watching in America as well. If you click on the Facebook link, then just scroll down and you'll be able to get on and get the American site and get the American prices so that you don't miss out on anything. Wow, I love these.
So here we go. So we've got these absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous leaves. Now I can't stress that enough. So what I tend to do is I take a little piece. Now there is a guide within the
within
the
book.
Flower Pro book. There is a guide that you get, which is perfect for making sure you've got all the right sizes.
Yep.
If you haven't got it, you can still do it.
Just
It doesn't mean that
exactly,
you can't do
exactly.
it. You can still do it.
And once you've done a couple of them, you know
you do
what you're going to use. But again, on the insert, they have the link up to the Nick Berry on the YouTube.
Yes, they do.
Videos, so you know we're not leaving you in the lurch here. You can buy with complete confidence, can't you?
Absolutely.
Which is what I love about it. And Nick's worked very, very hard with Katie Sue to get these as perfect as we can, and I'm sure once you see them you'll agree that they are just perfect. Leaves, a bit like butterflies, you always need leaves.
You do.
Covers up everything, but I just love the foliage.
And I think because they're just so easy to work with. So what I've done is I've got a piece
made like a little sausage in the middle.
Sausage. Now what I tend to do is I've got glue on my fingers, but I'm sure I'll be forgiven for that. I tend to just flatten it out.
Yep.
And then sometimes you need to go in with a sponge. You know, if you do, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it does stop it from moving about a bit
Yes.
more.
And Nick tends to favour that. And why we're doing that to go on the outside, because obviously as in nature, you want the outside of the leaves to be as fine as you can.
You do.
But you need a little bit strength in the centre, particularly if you're going to wire them.
Yeah.
Or you're going to use them as we are for this, for the roof. But it just, again, gives a absolute unique, realistic look to those leaves, doesn't it?
So, mine is really thin, this one.
But you know what I love about that? You get this in nature.
It is bitty.
You get this in nature, and that's what I think is just fantastic.
Now you've got a few ways of drying these.
Yeah.
If I'm working with a laptop on my knee at home, I use a little lap tray, and that little lap tray's got a ridge all the way around it. So what I tend to do,
a little tray that I do the same.
Let's say that was the ridge.
Yeah.
I would tend to dry it like that, all the way around. I go all the way around the outside of my trays.
Yes.
You know, and I build them up and
I
keep
do.
them like that. There is other things that you can buy, and you can buy formers, which is it's basically a bit of sponge.
Yeah.
Like
it's like a dimple form.
Egg cartons are good if it's
egg carton's perfect,
and
because
then
the cardboard dries anyway.
You can really go to
Yes,
town on
you
how
can.
you want to, or you
can.
could bend it right over. Totally
And
up
don't
to
forget
you.
to put all your little nibbles in where the bugs will have eaten.
Exactly.
I love
I normally
that.
find that mine often have nibbles without me even trying.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And I don't mind that. So that is how you do that piece. And then, as you can see, I've got loads there, but I've done them in different colours here. And I never worry that they're different colours. Alright, because once I add a little bit of paint, it doesn't matter. So I've got 3 colours with me, and I just want to show you how I get the variegated look going on.
Okay.
Alright, so I think I've got a little bit of orange. I've got a little bit of pink.
I love this because you can just go to town and every leaf that you make is totally unique,
It is.
as in nature.
And I've got a little bit of green.
Wow. Fabulous colours there,
And
Jack.
you should,
Uh-huh.
if you were being correct, you should wash your brush out between uses, but
Well,
I
you know.
don't. I don't, because I
do
think
as
it
we
adds to
tell
it.
you, not what we're doing, okay?
I think it actually adds to it.
Yes.
So all I'm going to do is a little bit on, and I'm just going to start and paint
Whoa, look at the colour of that.
All right.
Can I just show that on the
Yes,
camera before
absolutely. There we go.
you... Wow. Look at the coloration on
So
there.
it's got a little
and
bit of
that,
sheen in.
it just absolutely makes the depth of those veins just pop, doesn't
do.
it?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So I always do thin coats, because
Yeah.
if you do thin coats, it dries much quicker and you don't need a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I never worry that, as I say, it's all covered.
Yeah.
Because I
I
think
don't.
that
If I've
adds
missed a
to
bit,
it.
I think, no, it
It'll
doesn't
do.
matter.
It'll
Yep.
do.
Yep.
So
Now
then-
look at that.
So then by going over with
Whoa.
other colours and just adding
Love
a
it.
little bit here and there, and then we'll go up to the orange one.
Oh, I love that.
There we go.
Yes.
So it just adds, doesn't it?
It's just the colours of nature. Oh my goodness, look at that.
And it doesn't have to be perfect. I think sometimes we worry too much
Yes.
about being perfectionists.
Oops,
There we go.
There we go. Isn't that just absolutely, look at that. And you lose none of the detail by
absolutely
doing
not.
that. Of course, if your colours were too thick, if you were using a thick acrylic, then you might run the danger of it losing that
Yeah.
detail. But that is fantastic, Jack. I love that. Thank you.
You could go straight over with pigment powders without without mixing it with anything, just maybe a bit of water.
Yeah.
But you would then need to spray it with something, maybe a bit cheap hairspray or something
Yes,
like that,
yeah.
just to set it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's very rare I do.
I know. No.
I'll be honest with you, but some people do get a little bit worried about that. Personally, I don't. So I'm going to shove them to one side, and we're going to bring the lid back in, and we're actually going to bring this little guy in as well. And I'm going to place the lid on, because I want to make sure that everything's fitting.
Yes. And of course, if you've got a particular front or back, then it depends which way you're putting the lid on, doesn't it? So yes, I can understand that.
The other thing that I would do, once I had it totally so that it was all covered, the lid, I would take it off carefully and I would sit it on something else to dry.
Yes, yes.
Just in case there was any
Yeah.
stickage anywhere. But that's what I would do. But I find it much easier if it's on the likes of this structure.
And of course, when I'm
put
thinking
things
what
on.
you could have done is for the outside edge here, you could have just gone around with your mat.
Yeah.
You could have gone around with your mat, your tree bark, and just pressed that onto it to give a little
Absolutely.
bit.
Yes, you
yeah, give a
could.
little bit of detail on there.
Or you could, as I did, and you could, am I the right way? Let's have a look. So you could, with something like that, you could just give it a little
Just
bit.
give it a little bit of texture,
a little bit
detail.
of texture. Yeah.
Or you could use the stonework from around the outside.
That one would be gorgeous.
Yeah,
But
you
you've
could
also,
use those.
I think if you have a look on the mould site, I'm certain there's a stonework mould as
Yeah.
well that you could. So it's
There is.
it's up to you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start, and I always start at the front.
Yes. So you
Now,
can
I
get your
use getting
composition
that,
right.
Can I do it that way? There we go. There we go. That's better for you.
Okay.
So I'm just going to start and add some little leaves.
Oh,
around.
look at those.
And we'll not do all of it now.
No.
But we'll go around and we'll put a few, and I'll
But
just
you're going to
show
finish
you.
it later because this is the
Yeah.
prize, isn't it? Whoa.
I think we're going to give that one out as
Oh,
the prize.
oh, wow.
Because I don't want to run the risk of it getting damaged in the post.
Fantastic. Oh, Jack,
So we'll
that's
give
even
the
better.
finished one. So as you can see, I started off with the large ones, and then I'm moving up to the smaller ones or the medium ones. just adding a few.
And that's the other thing. So in the mould, you can see that you've got 3 different sizes. I'm just going to bring that over the top there. So you see the 3 different sizes of the oak leaves, and then the 2 different sizes of your rose leaf. Any one of which you can use.
Absolutely.
But that, again, it's important for your dimension, isn't it? To get that right, your perspective.
So just by moving up and changing the size
I like
of the
pink
leaves
roof because you've got the little bits of pink inside. It's very girly, isn't it?
It is very girly.
Oh, I'm going to make one for Eve.
I think you have to.
I'm definitely going to make one.
You could always finish this one and take it with you.
Oh, wow. She would love that.
So we're just moving up, and then once I got near the very top, I would put another couple of layers of, maybe it's the medium ones on.
Right.
There we go. And then once I got up near the very top, I would start on the small ones.
Yes. And of course, because the clay is still relatively wet, you're able to use that to an advantage of being able to stick it, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Oh,
so
look how that's coming together. God, I love that.
And it's so easy.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we look at things and think, how on earth? But once you break it down,
yes,
it makes it a little bit.
But you know what I'm
easier,
thinking for Christmas? You could maybe just have a little bit polar white on the top, some glitter on.
Absolutely.
It could be a winter scene, couldn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So building it up all the way, and then I would start once I get to there, and I would just work all the way around it, and then I would start on the little baby leaves coming.
I've just imagined now Eve not realising that you're going to be able to take the top off that. I love that idea because you can have a lovely little surprise inside that jar, which is just like, wow.
Do you know what? I've just realised something.
What?
If we didn't want to finish that, we've now got a rain canopy. Just saying. So if you didn't want to make as many, you could end up, by doing that, you've got a little rain canopy. So it looks as if there's a little rain canopy going on.
Yes.
So the only thing that we've got left to do is the gorgeous berries and the beautiful.
So could you just quickly show us how to do an acorn and a berry, and then we can refer to the dry, because these are absolutely, again, ingenious. When I first started doing them, we were making them up, one of the girls from across the road in production had come across and said, wow, are those real? And that is it. You know that it's right. They are fantastic.
Again, I'm just going to check. I don't think I'm just going to add a little bit of fat.
And look how much is,
tiny
little bit.
That's it. I've just basically, you know,
yeah,
ever so slightly put it on my finger, because if you put too much on, it just slips all over the place. So adding a little bit in. I know that that's too much because that's about the size of an acorn. So I'm going to take a bit off.
So this is the walnut, isn't it? The walnut.
Sorry, yes, the walnut. So I'm going to pop that in there. You see, that's still too much.
That's fine. Just scrape off the excess.
Scrape that off. Now, if you were doing sugar paste at this point, I believe, I could be a million miles wrong, but I believe you would let it dry. You would tip it out, let it dry, and then do your other one and join them together.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
With clay you don't have to.
Exactly.
That's one thing which is the beauty of the clay. So if we tip that out...
But look at this. Look at that.
I mean,
I know. Come on.
It's just...
That is real. It's got to be. Look at the seam around there.
That's what I love.
I do.
I do. Love that. So then you would go in with your second half. Alright, so we'd go in there, we'd take exactly the same, we'd push it out to those where the seams are, take any excess. Now I can feel that that's just a little bit too full for my liking. Now this is where it gets clever for me, because trying to join two things together that you're not really sure of. Now you can do it a couple of ways.
Yep.
I like to add a little bit just to make sure, a little bit of, just to make sure.
What I would say is be careful you don't go over the edges.
No,
just keep
definitely.
Keep it on your air dry clay within the confines of your walls. Oh, look at that.
And then you work to where it is in there, like so. We want to tip that out, and there we have it. The beautiful, beautiful acorn.
Now look at, I mean, come on. That's a real walnut. It's so realistic. The markings are, oh wow, I love it.
I know, I'm calling it an acorn, aren't I? They're on there as well, though.
It's a walnut, yes. Yes.
They're on there as well.
So you've got your acorns. What I love, again, you can have a half acorn if you want to just add it onto your cards and things. You can make a whole one. We've got your almond. We've got an acorn cup. And then we've got the 2 halves of your berries.
We have.
These, again, incredible stuff.
I thought I had a bit of black, and I will have somewhere.
Not to worry, just use a little.
There we go. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. When I'm doing the blackberries, I love to work with the black.
I like to add a little bit of pink or a little yeah.
See, I tend to paint it afterwards, but I do love working with the black.
It's whatever floats your boat.
It is. So again, just priming it, making sure that it's not too dry.
And one of the things when you're using the black or you're using a deep colour, don't worry about it getting marking your mould, because wash and soapy water, make sure it dries, that'll all come off. But
it will.
The black particularly does sometimes leave
a
little bit.
The first time you do it, you think,
what have I done? I've ruined everything.
Absolutely fine. So you're going to fill that to the top. You're going to make sure that that's nice and full up. Now what I will say is the black is highly pigmented.
Yes.
So it is a little bit more juicy. I want to say juicy than the others.
Yes.
So just be aware of that. Maybe leave it out a little bit to dry first.
Yes,
I haven't.
yes, I would agree.
And then we're just going to pop that out.
Look how easily that's coming out.
And you've got, you see, I've flattened it through that, but you can get the gist of it.
So there we've got the berry on there. Now I think maybe with this being black, you're not getting to see it as clearly, but hey, look at these.
Yeah, the minute that you add a bit of colour,
look at those.
It's stunning, isn't it?
Oh,
and again, the leaves is on that beautiful leaf mould that you've got, so it all comes together, and then we paint them up, and we just add everything.
And just do what you want to do to it.
So if I bring that back in, and you can see, you can start, and you can add bits
and compose your picture.
Yeah.
Your scene.
So just adding bits here, there, and everywhere.
A little bit of glue, or sometimes if they're a little bit rolly like that, what I do is I use a tiny little bit of air dry clay, put that down, and then it'll rest on it. So
now what you'll see is, what I didn't show you was, I had one that was half painted, just to show you. You see that? There we go. It's
that's
half painted. So
absolutely
one side
fabulous.
I finished off, and the other side I'd left just so that you could see how it came about.
So I just want to reiterate before we end up closing up about this woodland bundle. So the bundle, you're going to get your nuts and berries, which Jack's just shown. So we've got the nuts and berries there with your acorn. Oh, I know. Oh, tell us about it. I love it.
And again,
I feel like a bit like Leonie, because she always says, yes, it's my favourite. Well, yeah, that's one of my other favourites. And then, yeah, this is another favourite.
Fabulous.
Oh, my word. I love that. Now, that's the bundle. And you're saving 20% on that bundle, so that's going to cost you $37.57. Sorry, you're saving 20%. And then we've got the Sugar Buttons bundle. Yeah. So you're getting that beautiful door with all that stone around it. Then you're going to get the leaves, the flowers, and the window. And again, you're saving 20%. That would be $29.98. Can I just bring in this? I love. This is another one of Jack's creations. I mean, I'm going to get it to camera here. Look at this. That's with all the stonework stood around it.
It is.
Then we've got the berries. I mean, look at all the leaves, the acorns, the walnuts.
And you can see the windows open in there, how you can actually leave them open.
And then look at the leaves on there. We've got the berries on the top. So another couple of things. What I would say is, go on and have a look at the YouTube videos. Oh, this Jack.
That got to show this. We both went,
we must show you this. Now look, this, you would swear that was a piece of fossilised wood bark.
It's fabulous.
Isn't that exquisite? I have a feeling that might have been Karen Seal had done that, but forgive me if it's wrong.
So it's been continuously printed.
Yes.
And then continuously put in the mould.
But again, look at the colours. You've got like the greenish, the lichen and things like that on.
Absolutely
well, Jack,
I've loved it.
It's been fantastic. So what you need to do to be within a chance of winning this fabulous creation from Jack, you've got to like and share on the Facebook page, And then by tomorrow at 12:30, so we've got a full 24 hours, 12:30, then Katie Sue headquarters will be picking a winner. And my goodness. Well, Jack,
Thank you.
I've loved it. Absolutely
Me too.
loved it. And thank you to everyone that's joined.
Absolutely.
And all I can say on behalf of Katie Sue headquarters is I hope you have a fantastic Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Stay tuned. Keep looking at all the tutorials. You're just going to be thrilled to bits with all of that real inspiration.
And especially if they're going to get some money off the malls, it's even better side Christmas.
It's even better. It's even better. So until we see you again, have a fantastic time. See you soon.